welcome again. This is the second video of network automation and programmability playlist. And as I have mentioned in the previous video, in this one, we're going to talk about southbound APIs. We'll cover why we need them in SDN network and what are the benefits of using southbound APIs in comparison with traditional methods. So as you can see on my screen, I have a different picture now. And in this picture, we can see the southbound APIs indicated right here and northbound APIs indicated right here. So as it is illustrated in the picture, southbound API connects the control plane with the data plane, right? This is why we use southbound APIs. And the south is the reference to like the location. So basically, why do we need them? Like we already said in the last video that we have separated the control plane and the application plane from the data plane, right? And how do we interact with data plane now? Well, to interact with data plane, we are going to use southbound APIs. And there are a few options, a few popular options, which I have indicated right here, which we can use as a southbound API interface to interact with our underlying infrastructure in forwarding plane. So basically, the difference between a southbound API in SDN and other methods in traditional networking is that southbound APIs are based on programmatic interfaces, right? This is a different concept, slightly different concept. So traditionally, we used to work with SSH or any other, like Telnet, any other protocol on the layer 7, but we were using CLI to connect the devices manually. And CLI is a text-based method which allows us to issue commands on the interface, on the command line interface, and then send those commands to the device and do our operations, whatever it is. CLI interfaces are not fully programmatic and standardized. They are not structured. They are almost unstructured. It's very difficult to parse the CLI commands, their outputs. The only benefit of CLI is that it is human readable. The output you get is a human readable output. This is the format that we can understand and perceive easily. So that's why traditionally we're using this method to connect the devices. But as networks grow exponentially and now any kind of infrastructure has a lot of devices, we need a better mechanism. We need a better methods to control, maintain, troubleshoot, configure all of those devices. And CLI just does not have this capability. It has a lot of limitations in that sense. It is unstructured. It's very difficult to parse outputs for machines. Machines don't understand those outputs that we humans do understand. And we need to find a different way and to come up with a different solution which allows machines to talk to each other easily, which allows one controller to talk to hundreds of devices. And this method has to be different than CLI. So there are a few options, a few popular options like OpenFlow, netconf, and RESTful API interfaces in modern day and age. So basically, a programmatic interface means that this is some piece of software in the operating system of a device, right? This is not some physical interface located on the device. Like this is one of the most popular questions about like where exactly these southbound interfaces are located on the device. Where is it? So southbound interfaces are integrated to controller, to SDN controller on the control plane, and the southbound, let's say, agent or interface on the device is a piece of software that is located on the operating system. So this is completely logical interface, right? There is nothing physical. You need an IP connectivity, a network connectivity to the device. Like, it doesn't matter if it's based on a loopback address or management address or any other address. If you can reach the device on the network layer, on layer 3, and if you have this piece of software installed and deployed on devices, which is done by vendor and manufacturer itself, or any other third-party company. So if you can reach this piece of software and it operates properly without bugs and errors, you can use Southbound APIs to configure your devices, manage your devices in a programmatic fashion. Programmatic interface, again, means a structured interface which allows for centralized communication and control of any kind of device under this infrastructure. So this is the Southbound APIs, and those are the options we can use. So OpenFlow is one of the most famous options, and basically the idea is a control plane sends a bunch of flow requests to change the behavior of the network device, and the network device inserts this flow of instructions into its flow table and changes the behavior of the device in that way. Netconf is this, the idea is the same, and netconf uses XML format particular way to accomplish this task. So we are sending requests on an XML format, and in this request we are trying to explain our intent in a machine language, like what we want to do. We're selecting these tags and modules to identify what is going to be the state of, let's say, certain interface, and we write this in XML format. We send it to a device via netconf protocol. Device receives it by its Southbound API programmatic interface, a piece of software. It basically decodes the XML format and sends it back to the operating system. Operating system finds exact module or subsystem which is responsible for interfaces, right? And it basically inserts this flow, applies this command, and sends back a response to us also in XML format if we use netconf. REST API use HTTP protocol. REST APIs are primarily used in as a northbound API, but you can find a lot of RESTful interfaces also on modern networking devices, as it's also very fast and efficient solution to apply for southbound APIs, right? And then there are also some SDKs. SDK stands for Software Development Kit. Basically, it's libraries and modules developed by vendor and uploaded to GitHub or any other public repository. And you can use those libraries with programming languages such as Python to construct specialized and customized scripts which will change the behavior of your network device exactly as you want it to be, right? So idea is very, very simple. Again, southbound APIs are used to change the behavior of network devices lying in underlying infrastructure. All you have to do is just use a different way. In software-defined networking, we don't use CLI anymore in the sense that we don't connect to each device manually and issue commands on text-based interface, right? This is a traditional method, and this is inefficient method because, again, you can make mistakes as a human. You may not have enough time to connect to 50 or hundreds of devices, and when it comes to scalability, network design, it's just not efficient solution if your infrastructure is large enough. So that's why you can use these particular options. Obviously, we also have SNMP for data retrieval, particularly for network monitoring. You can use SNMP also. The idea is still the same. The approach is different. In traditional networking, we had control plane and application plane integrated together with a device, so 3 planes together. Now in software-defined networking, we decoupled the control plane and application plane. We placed them in a different controller in a network management system, if you will, in some Linux-based controller. And now we have to provide a network connectivity to every single device on the infrastructure. After you have a network connectivity, and if this network device in your infrastructure, if it's a modern device, it will come with embedded southbound APIs as a software. It will have it in its operating system. All you have to do is just pick a method, one of these options, right? And basically just do whatever you wanted to do with your device. Change device's behavior with southbound APIs. So that's pretty much it. There is literally nothing like difficult in understanding the concept. Difficulties may arise for traditional network engineers when they actually deploy the solutions with southbound APIs, because they might have to learn what is REST API, how do we change the behavior of device with HTTP requests, how do we use netconf, they have to understand XML format, and they have to work with that, but that's pretty much it. Like, we're not, like, software-defined networking is not about changing everything fundamentally. It's basically changing an approach based on future demands and even modern demands of businesses to be able to handle large infrastructure. It's just more efficient to use these methods. So in our future videos, we will have a hands-on examples with all of those methods and how to write scripts, for example, using SDKs on Python, how to send requests with REST APIs and get operational data, configurational data, whatever. So for now, that's it. Southbound APIs are very simple and efficient, and this is one of the most important parts of SDN architecture, as we are literally changing the behavior of data plane by applying southbound APIs. Thank you for watching. Let me know if you have any questions in the comment section. Make sure to subscribe for more content. It was nice to talk with you, basically. Thanks.